Hello and welcome back. If you are new over here, big warm welcome to you. My name is Eliza Mozal and I help people explore more their spiritual side. And on this channel, we talk a lot about spiritual growth, spiritual journey, spiritual progress, self-esteem, self-worth, self-love, all that amazing juicy stuff. So if this is your jam, this is the place for you. And in today's video, I will be talking about something very, very dear to my heart. I'll be sharing with you what is the number one advice I would give my younger self. And right now I am 38 years old, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about it because it literally changed my life. And I cannot imagine what would happen if I would start doing this years and years and years ago. So stay tuned and I'm gonna start with that. I was somewhere around, I must have been about 20 or 21. I was back in that time, I was living in Poland and I was working in my first like full-time job, and I met a lady who was, I don't know, it seemed a little bit spiritual or psychic, and she told me one thing: you must meditate. And I didn't knew what she meant. I didn't knew the extent of what she said and the meaning of it. So I asked her, so how do you do that? What's that? How do you do that? And she talked me through quickly that this is a process. When you sit in silence, you get a very, very gentle music in like a background, and you sit in silence and you focus on your breath, in breath and out breath, and relaxing your body. And you do that for about 10 and 15 minutes. So what I have done, that turns into a story time. Oh my god, that turns into a story time. So okay, let's have it. So what I have done, I remember I was renting a room from an older lady, and I shut the door. I put the only gentle music I had, and it was back in the day when they were cassettes. I don't know if you ever heard of cassettes. If you are younger generation, you have no idea what's that, but you can Google it. Oh, this is too funny. And so I had Eric Clapton. It was his guitar, gentle music. I put on a very low volume on the cassette on magnetophone. Oh, this is too funny. Oh my god. And I sat down and I focused on my breath, and I focused, and I think I disappeared. The time disappeared. And I remember there were moments when I struggled. Oh my god, how much longer? And it was only 2.5 minutes, and it felt like half an hour. And then there were moments when the time just disappeared, and I went somewhere away. The funny thing is that was at the evening time. The funny thing is that the next day in my work, what I would usually sell in about 2, 3, 4 days, I sold the same amount and earned the same amount of money in 2 hours time. And I was shocked. The peace and different energy that was coming out of me was nothing like I've ever experienced. And it was a little bit scary and terrifying. I was afraid even to share that with anyone because they would think that I'm weird. And just to remind you, that was, I don't know, 2001, 2002, 2003, somewhere a long time ago, back in the day in Poland. No one probably knew what is it meditation back in the day from the people I surround myself with. And so I kept it to myself. The next evening, I was trying to meditate again because this lady told me you have to do it every single day. And I sat down and I struggled, and my body was just like, no, scratch your head, no, this is too difficult, no, just let it go. And I dropped it, and I never got back to it until nearly 5 years ago, after what I shared before, reaching my rock bottom and learning life in new terms, in a new way, when I started awakening spiritually, and I started meditating on a daily basis. So I was shown how to meditate And this is something that I need to do every single day if I want to grow, if I want to learn, if I want to expand, if I want my life to have more peace in it, if I want my life to be happy, fulfilled, and the way I would like it to be. If I want that, I need to meditate on a daily basis every single day. And let me tell you something, there is not even one day I have missed since then, not even one day. And there were a few times that I messed up, that I've not put enough of time and effort into it, and there during the day I was all chaotic and all messy and all that stuff, which gave me a really good lesson. But I never stopped because of the result that the meditation started creating in my life. And especially the last year is just been absolutely phenomenal. And I will get to that in 1 second. So the lesson that I would give my younger self, it was just no matter what, meditate every single day. I cannot imagine what would happen if I would just be now meditating for these, 20 years. It's just absolutely mind-blowing because of what I have been discovering in this last year. So in the first 3.5 years, I was doing very gentle meditations because at the beginning it was a huge struggle to me. So each time I didn't want to overdo it, to not put myself off it. So I would do between, at the beginning, 5 minutes meditation, then 10 minutes meditation, then 15 minutes meditations, and I kept on stretching till about half an hour, but usually it will be between 15-20 minutes on a daily basis at the morning and at nighttime. And I did had beautiful experiences, but they were very rare and they were very brief and they weren't happening often. Most of the time it was about just getting peaceful. Most of the time it was about you being focused, grounded, and peaceful, and it served a beautiful purpose for me. It helped me grow into the woman that I am right now. It helped me learn as much as I could. It helped me so much on my spiritual journey, on my emotional healing journey, and all the stuff I've been through. But over the last year and a half, I've touched on something much bigger. Something that it still blows me away because I made a massive jump from 15 minutes meditation to 45 minutes and an hour meditation every day, very often twice a day, sometimes once a day, very often twice a day. And I've done it because I started learning more and more about Dr. Joe Dispenza teachings and his meditations. And it was absolutely mind-blowing to me that someone with stage 4 cancer would have a spontaneous remediation through just going to his workshop, through doing his work, through just doing these meditations. Or a lady who went through a traumatic experiences and lots of illnesses, in a spread of a 2 years time, she would literally totally heal herself and created a new radiant beautiful being through just doing these meditations and practicing on a daily basis who she wanted to become, which it was absolutely magnificent because I still felt that there was some kind of hole, there is something missing, and whatever I'm doing is amazing and beautiful. So Dr. Joe Dispenza meditations were something that, okay, let me give it a try. And a year and a half ago in May, I started doing his meditations and I started reading his books, and I was doing a little bit that on and off. It would becoming a little bit too hard for me at times because I was so addicted to guilt and shame. I was so addicted, and I had no idea to how huge extent to feeling bad about myself, to mastering unhappiness, and then secretly wishing that things would change. So it was a lot of work that I had to do, but it was the most rewarding and beautiful thing I have ever done for myself. So at the beginning of this year, in January and February, I went through my last depressive episode, and I've decided, okay, enough is enough. Absolutely enough is enough. I am sick of being all over the place, doing something huge and amazing, then dropping it and picking it up a week or a month later. Enough is enough. If I really want a fundamental change, like absolutely fundamental change, that just has to happen right now. It just has to happen right now. And what I have done is I have made a vow with myself that I will be doing that stuff every single day. Every single day. There is no days off. And yes, sometimes at evening I do 20-minute meditation. Sometimes I do just half an hour meditation at the evening, but every single day I will do 45 minutes or an hour, sometimes an hour and a half, because I'm going to benefit from it, and everyone around me is going to benefit from that as well. Now, what started happening? Huge things started happening very fast. In a big way. I started having visions that they were answering the questions I was carrying within. Questions like, who am I? Where am I coming from? Am I loved? What does need to change? How the greatest expression of myself feels and looks like? What is my purpose? What is my future? What is it that I need to do now? And I started that work in February. Right now we have end of December, and nearly all of these questions have been answered. They are absolutely huge. I know that these questions and these answers is something that everyone needs to find for themselves, but I am very well aware that majority of people never even get to the point of being brave enough to ask these questions long enough to get the answers. Majority of people do not get till the end of their lifetime to get their answers. I am 38 years old. In 1 year time, I started asking these questions, and I actually got answers. And I know there is more and more questions and more answers, and that's fine and okay. I know what I am standing on, and I'm not trying to say in any way that if you don't ask these questions and you don't have these answers, your life is meaningless and doesn't mean much. Not at all. Absolutely not at all. Every single thing I've went through before I got to this year, before I got to asking these questions and get answers, is the same valuable. So every piece of the journey that you are on right now is extremely valuable. And as long you are present with it, as long you are aware of it and acknowledging yourself for every single action you are taking, all is good, all is good, all is amazing. I'm not trying to create any type of isolation between me and you and me, anyone and anything, not at all. We all are on the same journey, going through our own separate paths, which are not separate, but we're going through them in our own way. I think you know what I mean. If you do, please let me know in comment section. What I'm trying to say is that if there is something you're thinking about, what you can do for yourself on a daily basis that is going to profoundly change your life, I would say is meditate every single day. And it doesn't matter, is it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, 5 hours, or just 3 minutes. It absolutely doesn't matter, because you will get where you meant to go. You will get exactly where you meant to go if you are sticking with your spiritual practice, if you love yourself enough to invest into yourself, your time, energy, and your money. And that's the advice that I would give to absolutely everyone and anyone who is willing to love themselves enough and take action on a daily basis. Because at the end of the day, we are in charge of our own time and energy. We are in charge of it. People say, I don't have time. No, it's just not your priority. Because if you break your leg and you end up in hospital for 3 weeks, you all of a sudden finding time for it. Your work all of a sudden is on a place number 2 or number 10, but it isn't on place number 1 anymore, because your health then becomes your number 1. So it is all about prioritizing. What is the most important in your life? What is the thing that you can do today that is going to affect and change positively the rest of your life. Maybe actually sitting down with your journal and coming up with a decision what you are going to do every single day for the rest of your life, at the morning and at night time. Maybe it's meditation, maybe it's a gratitude prayer. It doesn't have, you absolutely don't have to do anything with religion. It can be just spiritual, the way I do it, non-religious in a spiritual way. And the most important thing you can ever do into this world is invest in yourself. I remember something that changed me. I heard that maybe a year and a half ago. Well, I heard it over and over again, but then it finally got there, it got there. The world doesn't change by your opinion, it changes by your example. And I was at the time when I was running a successful Facebook group with nearly 2,000 women in it, and I felt like I'm only talking about stuff. I was doing stuff, but I didn't felt I'm showing enough, and that was just like a little sign from universe, from higher self, that Eliza, you just need to do a little bit more over there. You just need to do a little bit more, just a little bit more action, done in a little bit different way. And that's exactly what I've done. I think I'm gonna finish with that, guys. I'm not sure if you have any questions. If you do, please let me know in comment sections. I would be so happy to answer them and try to help you out with anything you are struggling with. I would absolutely love to know as well, what are your struggles on your spiritual journey? What are the things that you are coming up against and don't know which way to go? I would absolutely love to know. I would absolutely love to get to know you a little bit more, and what's over here, what's over there for you. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I hope you've got value from that video. If you did, please be sure to like that video and subscribe for more, because it's going to help this channel to grow, so it can create more and more content for those who need to see these messages. Thank you so much for being amazing. Keep on exploring, stay awesome, and I will see you soon in my next video. Mwah.